Well, hello guys. Hi, good morning. How are you? Great. Wonderful. I don't know how many more videos we can milk out of this project here, but we are getting very close. I think I said that last time, actually. Surprisingly, the heater system in this thing is taking every bit as long to get together as the entire interior of the car. Probably means it was a little, you know, not complicated, but a little elaborate, I guess you could say. Anyway, I did get a new heater control valve. We'll take a closer look at that. Um, and then throughout this video, we'll just continue to piece this thing together. Uh, and then we really need to set our sights on wiring and just getting a few things together. Let's just make it up as we go, okay? All right. As if you couldn't tell, that's what I'm doing already. Now, this is a new control valve. I was having trouble finding them on Mutton Hollow's website. I went on eBay and bought it from Mutton Hollow on eBay. Maybe I just didn't see it on the website. Anyway, it is a Danchuk piece, and it's pretty good, gotta admit. They say in here that the capillary tube they omitted. Actually, they say, I believe, Chevrolet discovered the capillary tube was not needed, and so this version just doesn't have it, and all my hard work was for naught. Okay, it wasn't that hard, but anyway, I'm going to slap this in. I should be able to get to the cable and everything after the fact on the inside, because I have none of the cables hooked up at this point. I don't even know if I have all the cables. Alright, we're going to see how modest of a mess I could make. Sure. I am missing the heater hose Clampenheimer here. We'll just give it a good guesstimate. It should go to the inner fender there below the battery, south of the border. And from the water pump to the top of the heater core, I believe is what I need. So something like that. We're just going to bring this bad boy up and spill all over. Oh yeah, okay. That was more than I was planning. Great. I think I want the clamp facing this way. Alright. We're doing great. We're looking good. You gotta go on the heater core now, buddy. Did they use the wrong size? I don't know. But I don't take that for an answer. What have we got? We got any size at all? I don't know. I don't see any. Okay, anyway. Now, duplicate that. Oh, I got my book wet too. Awesome. Firing on all cylinders. This should go to the bottom of the control valve. So, need like that much. That's empty-ish. Well, good night. I think they put too small of barbs. Yep. Yep, okay, well, A guy really should have seen that coming, that they did the wrong thing. And they got the little tiny clamps on those sides anyway. You're my kind of lover. My kind of lover. Alright, I ended up just running to town. I'm like, I want to get this, something done without waiting another week. So I just ran to town and got barbs and hose. So I'm going to pull off all this 5/8 stuff that never should have been, get it changed out, make a huge mess, and then go back with all the 3/4 stuff. I just ran the optic nerves, scanned over it, and I think these are 1/2-inch threads. So I got 1/2 to 3/4 barb. I don't think I'm even hitting the drain pan down there, which is awesome. Well, I mean, a small percentage hit it. So anyway, let me get these changed out and then we'll get back to what we were doing. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. Alright, here we go again. Now the guys had put shorty, just regular hose barb like this length on the water pump, and that made it nigh on impossible to get off with a wrench. Couldn't even get a socket on it because there's no room between the casting and the fitting to get a socket on the hex. And with the fan, the pulley, the radiator, you can't get a wrench in there either. I don't know how they did it. It may have gone in. It was tight. It may have gone on before they put the water pump on. So I had to use a vice grip on the barb portion to get it off. But anyway, it's done. I don't like this fuel line now. I guess I could go on the front of it. Kind of an odd one. Go like that. Go under our battery. Go to the top of the core. Something like that. Wow, it's like it fits or something. Alright, and then this goes to the bottom of our valve. Meet these here. Bottom of our valve. Let's face that this direction. I'm gonna have to go grab 2 more clamps. I'm a sucker for organization, especially when it comes to hardware, and I need a lot more of it. But I did buy an ideal clamp, I don't know what you call it, organizer thing, an assortment shelf thing, and then I dropped like $200 in clamps at my parts store. Good quality, ideal clamps, and stock that son of a gun. So that's nice. Okay, I'm gonna go around and tighten all my clamps, and then this is done. Someday I'm gonna slam that trunk lid down and it'll stop squeaking for us, but that's neither here nor there. One of the more potentially stressful or pucker inducing aspects of putting a car back together is cutting through your headliner to install the sun visors or sun shades. Definitely a recommended procedure would be, before you put the headliner in, I would snap a picture of the location of the holes in the hardware and the orientation and so on and so forth. I did not do that, you know. I would actually, you know, get a camera or your phone and put the bracket in the hole and line up the screws, and then you can snap a picture and you've got it. Where are you? I mean, you're right inboard of that. Okay, so way up here. There we are. Okay. So you just gotta find her, you know. X-Acto knifage. Feeling good. And then on these, the longer leg, I believe, is kind of coming on a 45-ish. Right there. So get a pick. Where'd you go? Under all the garbage. Okay. And you can kind of feel those spots right there. Right there. So that's the long leg of our bracket. So we're going to go there. Alright, so we're going to go. This right there. Here you are. And where are you right there? Cleaned up. Now go grab. Stop it. Take this screwdriver. There we go. Stop it. These don't look 100% original. They don't have the little leatherette, you know, finger pad things there, so you don't soil your fancy basket weave material. But they're silver, and they do extend, so that's fun. Something like that. Back in the old cockpit here, I got my defrost duct up in there. That was a bit of a contortionist dream there, but we got it done. It's actually not correct. That J-hook with the screw in the bottom there doesn't actually belong, I believe, because on this piece, well, now where'd it go? Well, that's odd. There just was a J-hook on here. Anyway, I'll have to find that or put that one on there. But so I believe the screw just goes through the hole in the bottom of that and then grabs this. But anyway, you can see somebody has kind of painted this in the past. Almost looks like with a brush, black. Had this cool original kind of hammered gray on it. I'll see if I can find something kind of similar. Not sure. But anyway, I'm going to clean those up and kind of get them ready for some kind of painting. I can also get my little registers in there. Just kind of working through everything. So here's the new and the old on our heater. Got a hammered gray. And this is, what do we got? Hammered matte cast iron. Didn't really like the matte part of that, and we can certainly put some gloss clear coat over it, but anyway, it's close. We've got some like sheet metal screw holes going on in here, so I may quickly fill those in with weld. This door work? Yeah, there we go. Kind of sticky and kind of rusty. What's going on? We'll get this cleaned up and paint it too. Isn't it funny the rabbit trails the human mind goes down? I was welding these holes shut and threw it in the blasting cabinet. I was just cleaning it up, getting ready, and I don't know why I started thinking about stuff with James Fenimore Cooper. I mean, I love the leather stocking tales. It's got to be some of my favorite books in the world. But then that brought to mind that my dad-in-law bought a new Herco CNC lathe, 5 years ago, maybe not even quite that, when I was still working for him, and their tech that comes, sets it up, and then teaches your guys to run it was there. And me being the service driver, I'm in and out. I wasn't even part of it. I wasn't learning how to use it or anything. And I walked up to the, small group of guys to see what was going on, and or I was talking to the tech, I don't know what. And he just, somehow I got onto the fact that he was from Cooperstown, New York. And I was like, oh, have you ever read the Leather Stocking Tales books? Because, let's be honest, this day and age, not many people have. They're kind of a harder read to get into because of the older English he used. And he's just like, well, I'm from Cooperstown, what do you think? Actually, I don't think I knew. I don't think I even knew he was from Cooperstown. I forget how the conversation went. Isn't it funny how just a chance remark from a complete stranger sticks with you? It can kind of get under your skin and bother you even for the rest of your life. And then there's people walking around in this world thinking their actions have absolutely no consequences for anything else going on around them. And it's just like, dude, I just asked you if you read the, I'm interested in the books. I was making conversation. I was just like, whatever, guy, you have fun with your lathe. I'm going to go do my thing over here, kind of thing, so. Have a little patience with each other is what I'm saying, I guess. I guess it was his way to brag. I don't know. Now I've said it. I've got it off my chest. I can forget about it, right? All I know is that this is looking pretty good. I actually seriously doubt he ever read them. He wasn't that cool. Got a little buddy that was hanging out by the bug zapper. Looks incredibly well fed. I'm not so sure he can move at this point. So yeah, I've got that heater, the over the hump portion installed there. Still kind of loose, and we have a series of holes going around the heater core through the firewall, and I could get kind of everything started but the top two, and then I started to question, do I really know what I should be doing here? Well, that answer is obvious. But yeah, basically the top two screws, it looks like on the diagrams in the manual, come in from the engine side. So I've taken all of this loose again, and I'm hoping I can sneak my screws in there and use my little bit ratchet and try to get those snugged up. Ratchet! There. Oh, thank you. Good. Now while I'm waiting for that all to cure, I'm just going to start pulling some wires through, try and get this all lined back out again. Not sure what all we got. Every time I think my list of necessary parts is, we're finally getting somewhere, I do a little more work and then I have to add half a dozen things to it again. I've got no horns. I've got no horn relay. I don't need a voltage regulator because I've got this alternator on here. I have no front wiring harness for the park lamps and the horns. You know, details. Well, a guy was strolling across the marketplace and I found someone had added, don't go in there, put a listing on there selling out after years of collecting Tri-5 Chevy stuff. And it turns out, once she told me where to go, I knew exactly the place. The shop had always had all kinds of Tri-5 stuff sitting around in back, and most of the building's sold and most of it's moved on, but there's still a lot of it there. Anyway, so I did a little shopping. The air cleaner. So the owner, in talking with him about what he wanted his engine to look like, we were talking about an air cleaner. He wanted a better one than just that little chrome job that was way too small for a V8. He wanted something that was more original, but then he mentioned keeping his chrome modern looking valve covers. To me, they don't lend themselves to each other, but anyway, in their semi-trailer of parts, small parts, they had a literal wall, I don't know, 12 foot long, 6 feet high, of just stacked original air cleaners for V8s and 6s, inline 6s. And I saw this guy kind of halfway down its stack. A chrome job, still has the old school AC decal on there. Very cool. And I said, okay, we get your style and we got something to go with your valve covers. I still don't really like it, but you know. Anyway, we did that. I needed a pair of horns. No idea if either one of these are good, but they have the brackets on them. Jegs tells me that within a few weeks I should have my trim, but I looked through some of what they had and found a couple good-ish pieces. So I need to determine, do I just tell Jegs forget it, or what we're going to do there. Heater hose clamp I talked about needing. And then some gems for me. Oil caps are getting hard to find, especially originals. They had a couple good ones. Oldsmobile vanity mirror. Awesome. Because why not? And then the cool old washer fluid bottle. Thought about mounting it in my Corvair. Not sure yet. We'll see. Oh, and then a slightly better seat trim piece. So I'm going to wash this up. I will probably try to get a paper element going for this thing. And we can certainly clean that up. So what do you guys think? Is this an early, like J.C. Whitney repop type dress-up thing, or what, you know, even though it has the AC sticker, or is this something available? Is it a custom job? I don't think so. A guy probably had his rose-colored contacts in at the time he saw it. Granted, it was covered in an inch of filth. Not as nice as I'd hoping it would turn out, but I do need to get like some Neverdoll. I don't have any here. I have some at home, and that'll really help finish up cleaning that up, and maybe we can get some of the worst damage out of it. Repaint the base black, and there we go. And then I will take it in, take the assembly into to my parts store, and we'll find a paper element for it. My high tone is working. My low tone is not. Now I went ahead and grabbed this one, crusty as it is, because it was a matching pair, you know, and I was just kind of hoping we'd get away with it, but unfortunately that's not the case. So perhaps we will have to open it up and just see what's going on. I smell a video coming up. Okay, I finally have parts here. You know, this thing is kind of garbage. So, found on a forum, go to Rock Auto and get some modern or still good part numbers. Where's the box? There it is. So the blower motor is in Four Seasons 35587. And it does look like my holes are kind of right. And then the fan 35602. So I'm going to throw that together, put it in. The guy had a couple of strapping teenagers here working and doing stuff, and so I had them just help me put... Boy, are we sure this thing fits? Maybe I'm using the wrong thing here. Also, I need to clean the underside of the hood. Looks like pigeons have been living above that side for quite a while. Okay, so what I'm finding is, yes, with these part numbers, it can be accomplished. It is not perfect by any means, and you have to be very careful to get it in the exact orientation for the squirrel cage not to rub the interior of the ductwork. And I will show you a little bit closer detail here in a second. I'm about to get the last screw in here, and then I'll show you. And I think it goes without saying that, once again, if you're doing a 10 million point restoration that's going to be judged, this is definitely a point or a way to lose points. You know, it's obviously not original, but it works. It's a good driver replacement option, especially if you have to sink a bunch of money and labor into what's going on with the other one. Let's take a look at this. All right, there we go. The hole in the side of the motor case, that is, I would say, roughly 3 o'clock, 3 to 4 o'clock. And then our terminal for the wire is definitely at 4 to 5 o'clock, and 3 out of the 5 screw holes lined up-ish. The other 2, they were in the neighborhood, you know, but they weren't home yet. You could just barely see the edge of the holes through the plate holes. So I had to drill new holes to get it to work, is what I'm saying. It was very, very close, but it wasn't home. So anyway, it's on and it's going to work just fine. I tested it with the leads and it runs nice and quiet. I found if I orient that any other way,
Then your fan gets off, and then it starts rubbing because there's a lip inside of there that the soft line on the opposite end of this in the fender hooked to the fresh air duct. There's a flange inside of there. And your squirrel cage, if it's offset from that just a little bit, it's going to rub on it. Otherwise it works. Alright, now I can get my side plates going here. I think I need to figure out some hardware. Even gonna line up for me. I know the panel's not to blame. Yep. There we go. Yep. There is so much left undone and so much I'm scratching my head about on this thing. I just drilled a hole for a grommet, get my fuel sender wire going in here. I don't even 100% know if that's the exact place to go, but there's a round bump out in the beadwork right there. You know, so that's as good a place as any, and it goes right down to the fuel sender. So at this point, whatever. We just got to get it done. So I guess I will scoot under there and figure that out, connect that, and then I'm not sure. I don't have any wires for the backup lights, so I have to figure that out. Which probably means pulling some of my carpet out again. Great. I don't know why I'm taking the lens off. Anyway, I guess if I need to change a bulb, I can change a bulb. And I still don't, I need to research yet the backups. Should be an orange and white wire back here, and there is not. Oh. We have one clear bulb and one amber bulb. That's a good effect with the red lens. I wonder where these are supposed to clip. And of course, we wouldn't have them, would we? No. I got in Coker Classics today, and so we're going to put those on. I am also going to we got two styles of lug nuts, and therefore need two sizes of sockets to get your wheel off. That's just another ridiculous thing. So I am going to count up all my open-ended lug nuts here, and while I'm in town tomorrow getting these changed out, we will probably get enough lugs to make it right. And I am also going to have the tire shop put, that was the main complaint there to begin with. They put too short of valve stems to accommodate airing up the tire when your wheel cover is on. Seems like I need a battery too. Alrighty. There she goes. There we go. Well, I have 11 new ones, open-ended new ones, and this car came with a bunch of previously new ones. What do we got here? 2, 4, 6, 8, so that's 19. Pretty sure I can come up with one more. I'm not seeing anything. Unless we have some bad threads, I'm not seeing anything concerning here, so. I have a box of them. I'll go find another. Isn't it a shame what some shops do? Makes me embarrassed just to be one of the crowd, you know. No doubt they acted like they were getting stuff done. They needed tires. He bought a brand new set, and it sat around the shop for the next 2 decades once again. We have 205 75 R14s, and that is exactly what I bought. Let's take a look. We've got some Colker Classics Star Series 205 75 14 2 3/8 white wall. Let's just take a little sneak peek here. Oh yeah. Gonna be rolling on them white walls, that's for sure. Not low and slow, but you know, looking good. Just got back from the tire shop, and here we go. You know, ought to look pretty snazzy. You can tell a guy's mind is still geared to, you know, 2 or 3 decades ago as far as pricing. You think I'm providing my own tires, just doing a mountain balance, and I even brought the old tires home so there was no recycling charge or anything like that. You're like, you know, 50 bucks, 70 bucks, and it's paid for, right? And you walk out of there having signed your life away for 200 for mounting and balancing. It's really worth getting your own tire machines. I think I say this every time I get it done. Anyway, someday, let me, I'll get these on, and we'll take a look with the wheel cover. So I put the long valve stems in, which is good. Something like that. What do we got? How are we looking? Oh yeah, that's gonna look good. Get the emblem right side up. You know, when you stop and consider all the years, all the decades, all the custom wheels and things guys have done on these cars through the years. And in my opinion, when it comes right down to it, I still really like the old school way. What do you think? Now, while I still have it up on the stands, man, it's humid in here. I got a late start. I came in at 8 a.m. You know, I had end of the month receipts to take care of, so my hot little bookkeeper could get all that going. That's my bride, if you didn't know. Anyway, yeah. And then I burned the brush pile and I had to sit around and make sure that didn't get out of hand. Anyway, I have got, you could easily make this, the backup wiring harness, but I just, you know, it was cheap enough that it would have cost me more in labor to come up with it myself. So I just got that, grommet for the park and horns, and then original style clips, fender wire harness clips. I should really figure out how to manufacture these myself, because not only are these things hard to find, they're hard to find at a reasonable price. I forget what I paid. How many are in here? There are 10 in here? 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah. 10. That's like $5 a piece. That's impressive. Got that on, a bit of a pain. And then the other end just snaps into the inner lining of the trunk. I would really love to hit this with some Raptor liner or spray paint or spatter paint, but nope. This guy's already getting antsy to get his car back, you know, to where he's vocalizing that to me, and that means a customer's usually pretty much at the end, you know. So we just gotta get him going as quick as we can. Might as well test them out here while I've got the harnesses at the cab end, the control end, the panel end disconnected. I think I see light on the door here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now this car came with a carpet kit for the trunk, so we'll throw that in. And that's kind of going to be the extent of what we do in here. Once again, with our body mounts, luckily the mounts were in it back here, but there was no hardware in it, so I threw those in. We'll just kind of throw this in place. I had no jack. I had no jack mounts. I have no spare tire. None of that stuff. So you know, that can go on the to-do list for the guy. Yeah. Well, that dresses it up a little and makes it a little nicer anyway, and that should be easy enough access for any of that stuff he wants to do in the future. I've got my grommet in here, and I shoved the harness through the backside. Grommet went in the front side, harness through the backside. It's beveled on the inside, the harness connector is beveled on the outside. Just grease up that bevel and it'll go right in for you. I just use dielectric grease because I have it right here. Plug this bad boy in, that should be good. And then I believe this hole is for a clip for this harness, just like that. Put one on the other side and we will be good to go. I could put my lights in. And I need to figure out a left-hand horn. Aha! Excellent. We didn't have gaskets in here, but I did have them in the pile of parts. Happy days. Alright, what we should have are 2 separate turn signal wires, 1 park light wire, 1 horn wire. Oh, there's the horn. There's nothing. It's a very dim. Huh. Okay. There's that turn signal. So I'm going to have to take the bulb off and get this one going again. That's their park lights. That's the right turn. Oh, stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Huh. Oh. Okay. We're good to go. If you call that good to go. Alright, well, in talking with the owner, he asked me about a radio. I said this thing has no, when it came in the shop, I had absolutely no radio, original equipment or otherwise. And he said, well, all he wanted basically was something that looked the part, but all he cared about was AM, FM. He doesn't need any other, you know, XM radio, Bluetooth capability. He doesn't care about any of that, so that's perfectly fine with me. Guy after my own heart. This is just from Summit. Should go right in. Has the bezels to accommodate the 57 dash. So that'll be just fine. I mistakenly only ordered 1 6x9. They should basically bolt right in there. One in the center of the dash, one on the left side of the package tray. And I want to do that now because I need to run speaker wire back there, and that should be hopefully the last of the wiring on this car, so we can put sill plates back in, carpet, seats back down, and be done with that. So start working on that, and I need to order 1 more of these. So now that we have a nice nap mat going on in here, lay down in here and we will mark factory hole locations for the speakers. Pop that out and put some kind of perforations in it. have all my door switches and wires, all the connections made. So one thing I really want to get finished, finalize here, is the dome light. Got a new lens and bezel. But it looks like somebody just grabbed this thing and just tore it out of its moorings there, you know. So I've got to do some straightening before I'm even going to consider putting this back in. They also broke the bulb in the process. Not a big deal, but whatever. In typical 50s fashion, I'll show you this when I put it in. We got the tab and the slot method of assembly, you know, on those. You'd see it back then on a lot of tin toys, as if I was there. Wish I was. Anyway. Just kind of do, you know, that kind of thing, that, and that, and that, whatever. So we've got little bumps going in here, and corresponding little notches there, and I think if I'm anywhere close to being round at this point, oh, it snaps right on. Stays. So that'll be good, if I can get it back off. Maybe. Well, I'll work with that off camera and ruin something. There we go. Alright, I'm going to get the base of the bulb out of there, and then I guess we can cut our headliner and put her in. Next on the list is my right-hand front seat trim. Now we have lost over half of these little punch-out darts, spikes, that go through the upholstery, grab the seat frame, and then you bend them over. One thing I thought I would try, this thing's kind of beat up anyway, you know, it's not like everything else, it's not the pristine Concours quality, but it'll be a nice, fun driver. I don't know why I'm talking like that. My idea was to replace the spikes with our pins here, with our pin welder. The problem is, to get this backing out, you're going to ruin the piece, you know. Now, I've tried one and it seems to have held really nice. You're going to discolor the stainless, you know, and so probably be a little bit of repair, a little bit of sanding, a little bit of buffing. Let's see if we can get a few more of these on here. If I get my act together. Get it exactly where it's supposed to go here. Something like that. Oh yeah. Where'd this one go? Now, here is our climate control that came with the car. Some of the things are very loose, and we are missing quite a bit here. I do have the light socket right there, but we had missing plastic knobs. We do not have the blower motor switch or the knob. We did not have the bezel that goes around this. What else? We do have all the cable clamps, but we're missing a lot, right? And I believe I have seen on Mutton Hollow you can buy these brand new, I believe. Check that for yourself if you need it, but you know, pretty expensive. But look what you get. The only thing that's going for this thing is how nice our stenciling is here, our little glass piece. So anyway, I got on eBay and I got the bezel and I got a second whole piece. I could have just gotten a switch, but I think money-wise, what was being offered, getting everything like this, was cheaper, you know, and that just varies per seller. But anyway, we've got the harness. The light is not simply snipped off, it's going into it. I need to check out the switch, but it feels like it's doing something. Like I say, I did get the bezel separate, but it's a very nice example. As far as the levers, they all feel pretty good. I think I'll do some lubrication, but our window is very messed up and foggy, just doesn't look too good. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, and there's a spring doing nothing. Oh, that should be a cable end, not a spring. Get it together, guy. Anyway, we have all the knobs except for the motor one, and I did get a set of knobs previously from Mutton Hollow, so we've got the motor one there. Yeah, I'm going to take the window out and either clean it up, or we may just... I tell you what, I'm going to start with this one, get an idea of what's going on here. It looks very straightforward, but you know, we might as well mess up this one. Yeah, so I'd say that's a pretty nice example. We will clean that up, see how that works. Got everything soaking in this bucket of washing up liquid, otherwise known in America as soap. You know, those crazy Brits. They have such a fancy name for it that they don't even bother rinsing it off their dishes, you know. Oh, Mom, why do my beans taste like washing up liquid? Okay, I've got this in and looking good. I am, however, going to wait until I know for sure that everything's going to work before I put our motor knob on there. I'm really in just the realm of guessing at this point. I thought I had a line on another steering column, and I was going to take it apart and compare, but that didn't pan out. Didn't end up being the right one. Even the assembly manual, like I said, it's just kind of hard to tell what's going on, you know. And then I think I said I called Mutton Hollow boys, and I already know what they know apparently, so we're just in the realm of doing what I know to do and seeing if it all works, and if not, we'll try again. Not sure why this wire is acting like this. I don't think it's quite locked in yet. Perfect example right there. You don't know what you don't know, right? And I can't have that block plate tightened down on this until I've got it in place in here. And my thrust washers, this one causes me concern. It's got teeth in it, but I see nothing in particular those engage, and then there were two of them. This tiny little one. I don't know. Maybe one of you knows. Still didn't work. I took the cover off here and I could watch the back, the little lock plate here, and my screws had to basically just barely be out on two of them anyway, and then it would lock in. So I've got it completely loose. Now I don't need to turn it. You dingus. There we go. So we'll see. Maybe the screws that were in it just weren't the right length. I don't know. I'm new here, you know. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna pick them up. Okay, struggling for no reason. Ha-ha! There are 1032 screws, which I do not have in my assortment. That's kind of something old school gone the way by, so I'm sure they are actually factory screws, but just messing around with it, I finally got it, so yay. I tried it with those thrust washers and without. I put them back in because they didn't seem to be impeding anything. Finally got it. Alright, I'll work on my turn signal and get these all tied up, and that's really it. That's all I can do on this project until I get trim. Nope. I don't like how hard it shifts now, which I can only take to mean I'm taking one of these thrust washers out, you know. We'll try that. I'll be here. You can go do what you want to do. So yeah, that really helped. That moves nice and free now. I think a little bit more adjustment needs to be done on the bottom end, adjusting how stiff that all is, but we'll take care of that later. I've got my new pawls and springs in here for the turn signal. That's how all that's looking. Looks like I need to tighten this pivot screw yet, but you got a canceling cam or fingers on the back side of the steering wheel, and I can show you that in a minute. And when you've got the turn signal on, you turn the other way, and these fingers simply cancel it for you. So that's how that works. Got this beautiful new steering wheel, or redone steering wheel, I don't know what the case is, and a new horn ring. I bought these both from Mutton Hollow, of course. This is a Danchuk product. I don't know who made the wheel. Anyway, here's that canceller, the fingers that hit the pawls. Got that installed. So that is ready to go when we're ready for our steering wheel. You know, that goes there somewhere. I think here. Not sure. Doesn't seem to fit. Oh, the tag light's on. Ha! I didn't think we were going to work. I hot wired the dome light circuit and we weren't coming on. So there's evidently, I have a connection problem probably on the back of that switch. They're not the greatest type of connector on the back of these things, but anyway, I open this door and, you know, things happen. So, and put this on and we'll be good. Guys, we have literally jumped all over from one end of this car to the other in this video, and that's just where we're at. All the little nagging details and the things that were left unfinished, we have got a slug of them done in the course of this video. Now I'm gonna cut it off. I had originally thought this would be the last video, but still waiting. Still waiting on trim. They keep promising. Now it's basically mid-August, and they're saying by the end of the month, I'll get that dash trim. I don't know. That will be the last time. The last video. We'll get that trim in. We'll get all the switches, the instrument cluster, all the wiring buttoned up, and that'll be it. We'll do our final driving, testing, tuning, and take it back home, I guess, or they'll come and get it. I don't know, but man, when everything hinges on one thing, that's just really, it can get a little annoying and aggravating, but that's how it is. So it's looking good. I think you would agree. Loving the white walls, you know, and I think I have the column and the turn signals done, right? Guess we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, there you have it. Thank you for joining me. God bless you. See you on the next one. It's getting hot in here.